Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today I am just talking about some things that are still bothering me about the Dexter finale. I did a video yesterday where I put my initial reactions and I still stand by them. There's a lot of people saying that, well, not a lot, but a few people saying the finale was good and to watch it again, and no, the things are still bothering me, and I just wanted to put a few more of them out there. Now I've had more time to think about it, and I also still don't know what they're going to announce today, so maybe that will change some of my opinions, because if they're not setting up a spin-off, I have even less clue as to what they were doing here. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and let me know your thoughts on the finale down below. And the first thing I want to talk about is some of the writing errors or things that I just cannot possibly get past. And that is two medical mistakes I think are happening throughout the last couple episodes and in the finale. So we of course know the ketamine M99 mix up, and it's just such a huge thing. Like, it is huge, and they double down in the finale and even have Angela talking about it. And I listened to this interview with Scott Reynolds on one of the Dexter podcasts, and the questioner asked, like, you know, what's going on here, basically. And they gave it was an awful reply. They didn't say it was a mistake, but they were just like, yeah, we knew we were doing that. But there was no real answer as to why they did. And you could even hear the questioner was like, okay, like, I can't understand why you would make this decision, and how anyone, like, the fact that multiple writers are there from the original Dexter, but I mean, like, if script assistants or like a writer's assistant would say, you know what, I think we need to change this, guys. Like, this is just such a huge thing. And I will say, if there was some reasonable reasoning for it, or if the finale was really good, I could totally overlook this. And it's just the fact that there's so many things that went wrong that it annoys me even more. And another thing that is seriously frustrating is the whole thing that cracks the case is wheel marks. And you don't get wheel marks from an IM injection, which is intramuscular. Like, if you think about when you get like a TB test and they put it in your arm, you can get wheel marks from literally bug bites and things. It's just liquid under the skin. But when you're putting a needle into the neck and injecting the way Dexter does, like that, it doesn't happen. Just medically, it doesn't happen. So that frustrated me too, because it was such a big element of what cracked the case. Another thing I find really hard to overlook from the finale is Angela not only turning off the camera, which why would she do this, but also going all the way out to Kurt, not telling anyone where she's going, no backup, nothing, and she just goes there. Whenever there was that split second when she was arresting Dexter where she saw his hand, and maybe she didn't completely put it all together, but then when he was moving towards the knife, like, how does she not know that he's set something up? Or for all she knows, him and Kurt could be working together. Like, she doesn't have any of the information the audience has. So found that hard as well. So Angel. We saw Angel in the beginning of the season and it was fun and everything like that. But in the finale, we see him, and the little split second where Angela sent him the picture, if you pause it, you can see his email. And I put this on my Instagram last night because they're talking about Masuka's wedding and bachelor party, and Masuka and Quinn are obviously still at Miami Metro, But this was like, what, seeing this, I was like, oh, that's cool. But what a waste of Angel. Like, why even tease him if he's never going to make it to see Dexter? And now we'll never make it to see Dexter because Dexter's dead. It just frustrating, really frustrating. I don't even see why you would do it and have the whole like LaGuardia file in his desk and everything. It's setting up nothing. And I mean, it has to just be fan service, but there's so many other things I would have preferred. Other wasted characters, I mean, we had only one season with 10 episodes. I talk about this in the L Word all the time, but you need to use your precious, precious minutes of airtime because it's a limited series. It's not even 10 hours of content, and they're wasting time with the billionaire that went absolutely nowhere. They're wasting time with Molly, who I'm one of the people that actually liked Molly, and I had way bigger expectations. I thought Molly was going to be the one that like put it together and was going to expose Dexter, because I think that would have been cool. But wasted character. Why did we waste all this time with her when she's killed off screen? And I mean, the little bits of information that her and Angela talk about, but you know, Angela just needed to Google imaginary wheel marks apparently and the wrong drug, so frustrating. So one of my biggest points is we see at the very end that Harrison has had this letter the entire time, and we also get a split-second flashback to Harrison in the woods when he's first getting to Iron Lake. And that leads me to believe that Harrison knew the whole time about Matt and the deer and everything. And he also had Hannah's letter that completely explains why Dexter left. So then why does Harrison turn up saying, "Did you leave because of me?" It just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And I also think that, yes, I said in my video weeks ago that I thought Dexter was going to die, because you can't have him escape, because that's exactly the ending we've already had. The only other thing was he gets caught, but they've talked about that ending with the lethal injection so much that I knew they wouldn't do that. So he has to die. But having him killed by his son in literally like textbook Chekhov's gun that was showed the previous episode, it was such a fast turnaround. Harrison and Dexter go from episode 9, which was a great episode, and yes, Harrison and Dexter are different. Harrison's anger is coming from somewhere else, if Dexter's dark passenger is, and you know, you could talk about that all day, but I just had such a hard time thinking that not only does Harrison kill his dad, his only remaining parent, and then drive off into the sunset smiling, which is just why? And why did he have to go like that? Because Angela, we see her come, give him what I assume is $20 and tell him to get out of here, and we see her wipe down the gun, call it in, and I'm assuming she takes responsibility because she says officer involved shooting. But Harrison could say he was in self-defense and that like he would have been fine, and he could have stayed in Iron Lake where he knows some people. But obviously, you know, if his dad has killed Logan and all this stuff, like maybe he wants to leave. But also, Angela didn't break her principles the same way Deb did. And then you have her at the end covering up a murder, wiping off evidence, calling it in and taking, you know, responsibility for it, when in reality, it's probably going to look worse that Angela, who is an officer, shot her boyfriend, whatever you want to say, when she's investigating him, and she's also like gone out to Kurt's with the camera on. Like, it doesn't look good this way for Angela, and Harrison skipped town. I just, like, it really just baffles me. I also think the Logan killing was completely out of character for Dexter, especially when hearing his monologue saying, I have to see my son. Like, what? We should have said, I have to get out of here. I have to skip to something, like killing Logan to get out. And it just, and I mean, I know we saw Dexter all season, or at least, you know, the latter half of the season being sloppy because of Harrison. But to me, it just, why not just knock him out? We've seen him, Dexter knows what he's doing. He could have, it just, I know he went for the gun and everything too, but it didn't make sense to me. And so overall, that's why when I think about all these interviews I've read where they say, we wrote the ending first, we wrote backwards, I do not know how you write this ending and then work backwards. Like, if you wrote this ending first, you know exactly, for better or worse, where you want to get to. And all the steps that they planted to lead us here just don't sit well with me. I don't think that Dexter dying was the problem. It's the way they went about it. I understand that Dexter had to die. I know some people wanted some fairy tale ending, but I said weeks ago, I'm pretty sure Dexter's going to die because this is the only way I could see it happening. And that's what happened. But it's the way they went about it, the writing, the ketamine, the wheel marks, those things I could have got over if they weren't such huge, like, doubling down on it points, and just the insanity of all of a sudden the switch that went off where Harrison's, yeah, I'm going to kill my dad and then drive off into the sunset as, I'm assuming, like a 17-year-old with no money, no anything, can't even rent an apartment, like, who knows how he's going to live a life. And I just think there's so many other things you could have used your time for if you take away the billionaires and all this stuff that just went nowhere, that we all thought was going somewhere, and it just wasn't. Like, I have this problem with other Showtime shows where they do all these interviews and hype things up, and they plant these things that make us feel as though there's some grand master plan, but there really isn't. So I think they need to either stop doing interviews and hyping themselves up, or they need to really step up their game. Obviously, I'd prefer them to step up their game, but those are all my feelings on the Dexter finale. Let me know yours down in the comment section. As I said, I do have a part 1 to this, and I'll link it above if you haven't had a chance to see it yet. It's more just talking about how I feel, as opposed to these are like why I feel this way. So thank you so much to everyone who has recently joined the channel and all the new Dexter people. I cover a lot of other shows and a lot of other Showtime shows, Yellow Jackets, The L Word, Grey's Anatomy, The Morning Show, tons of other stuff. And I will be picking up new shows soon to cover for Dexter. And I hope that you guys will stick around. So thank you again, and make sure you're following me on social media. I do also have a Patreon and a merch store, and have a great day. And as always, make sure to stay safe, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.